The Medal of Honor in a small, quiet town in the heart of the American South. There lived a man named Samuel Brooks. A black veteran of the Vietnam War, Samuel had spent years serving his country, fighting battles far from home. Upon returning, he sought peace, choosing to settle in a modest house on a street filled with long-time residents who had never quite accepted the idea of a black man living among them. The neighbors, their faces frozen in suspicion, watched Samuel from their porches as he moved in. Whispers spread like wildfire. Some scowled when he waved a polite greeting. Others muttered under their breath when he walked by. It was as though they couldn't fathom a black man having the courage to serve his country, let alone be awarded a Medal of Honor for his bravery. Samuel, however, kept his head down. He was used to the stares, the murmurs. He had faced far worse during the war. His mission to survive and rebuild his life after the chaos of combat was more important than the prejudices he encountered in his own backyard. But things came to a head one evening when a group of the neighbors, emboldened by their shared disdain, decided to confront him. They gathered outside his house, some of them with drinks in hand, their words sharp and laced with hate. "What's a man like you even doing here?" one of them spat. Samuel stepped out onto his porch, standing tall and unwavering. His eyes, though worn with years of struggle, were sharp and full of resolve. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out the small, weathered box containing his Medal of Honor. He held it up, letting the heavy silence between them stretch longer than was comfortable. The neighbors sneered, confused at first. But Samuel's voice, steady and calm, broke the silence. "I fought for this country. I bled for it. I risked my life for everyone here, regardless of your skin color, your politics, or your hate. This medal means that I earned my right to stand before you as an equal, and I'm not afraid of any of you." The group shifted uncomfortably, unsure of how to respond. Samuel continued, his words clear, firm, and powerful. "I could have stayed silent. I could have given up. But I chose to fight for the country I love, and I'm not going to be silenced by the ignorance of your hearts." One by one, their faces began to change. The anger in their eyes started to soften, replaced by shame. The man who had spat the words at Samuel lowered his gaze, unable to meet his stare. Another woman, who had always been cold and distant, felt a lump form in her throat. "Why?" she asked, her voice small. "Why would you fight for people like us who never respected you?" Samuel's gaze softened. He closed the box, but kept it in his hand, his fingers lightly brushing over the metal as if drawing strength from it. "Because I believed that one day you would understand. And because it's never been about me, it's about the future of this country, about the people who need to wake up and see each other for who we truly are." The neighbors stood in silence, their faces a mixture of guilt and wonder. They had never really seen him, not as a person, not as a soldier, not as a neighbor. But now, in the quiet of that moment, they did. And then, one by one, they began to apologize, not with words, but with actions. The following weeks brought a gradual shift. The same neighbors who once avoided him now greeted him with warmth. The grumbles turned into small acts of kindness, a neighbor helping Samuel with his lawn, a woman bringing over a pie to share, and an older man who spent hours fixing the fence at the edge of Samuel's yard. They never asked Samuel to forgive them outright, but they didn't need to. His courage in standing up to them had broken something inside their hearts. And over time, that brokenness transformed into respect. As the years went on, the town, once divided by fear and ignorance, became a place where unity began to take root. Samuel continued to live quietly, his Medal of Honor displayed proudly in his living room. But he never boasted about it. He had earned it, yes, but it wasn't the medal that defined him. It was his ability to stand tall, to fight for what was right, and to show that change could start with a single act of courage, even in the face of hatred. And every now and then, one of the neighbors would pause, take a breath, and simply say, "Thank you." Not just for his service, but for showing them what it meant to be truly human.